Hi, Paul.
Hi, Pranita.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me for your success story interview.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you look like a different person, not in terms of physical, but there is something different inside. And would love for you to share a couple of uh, your experience of working with me. And I'll ask you some questions. Would that be okay? And then you can answer me.
Yeah, fine.
So, Paul, can you tell me how was your health and happiness levels before engaging with my services? Just like paint a picture on where were you in terms of your physiology, that is all the biomarkers, and then quality of life.
So prior to working with you, I'd just been, I had a blood test that showed that I was pre-diabetic. I've suffered with arthritis since I was 16, and that was progressively getting worse. And it was almost like a downward spiral because I couldn't exercise, or I had no quality of life really physically. I was just putting weight on, and my self-esteem was pretty low. And it impacted, that sort of condition just impacted on everything I was doing at the time.
So, in terms of your biomarkers, do you have the results of working before with me and afterward?
Yeah.
So weight,
Well, I
for
suppose
example.
the most significant one for me was my weight.
Yes, yes.
And so when we started working together, I was 119 kilograms, I think, which is 18 odd stone.
Okay.
And now I'm down to 98 kilograms, which is 15 odd stone. So that's the sort of key one for me. That's an easy one for me to understand.
Yeah.
But then, my blood tests, I have to have blood tests taken every couple of months because of the medication I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's I don't really understand the medical terms, but there's a marker that measures my reactive protein level,
Yes.
which is something to do with the inflammation.
Yeah.
And that has been as high as 16 in the past. It was 10 when we started working together.
Okay.
By the time we finished working together, it was 7, and it is now 6,
Wow.
which is only 2 away from a normal reading. So yeah, that's
So does that mean that if you continue the lifestyle we discussed for next couple of like unlimited time, then your nurse or your doctor can stop taking that medication, which
yeah.
was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to the doctors when I had my last blood test, and that's what they said, that if it goes down to sort of 4, then there is really no need for me to be on medication.
Because that medication of course have some serious side effect, and that made you put in sheltering, and for many long time more
Yeah,
than other people, right?
yeah, the medication is effectively suppresses my immune system, so I have no immunity while I'm on this medication, which has meant during the COVID pandemic,
Yeah.
I've been shielded for 9 out of 12 months,
Wow.
which I would prefer not to be, but
Yeah. And like honestly, if you go back to being 4 and without that medication, I think late, other than your weight or any other, I think this will be the huge benefit because your internal physiology has shifted, and I think that is success in my eye, more than any other successes you got.
yeah, it affects everything.
Yeah. And
So
HbA1c level, Paul?
yeah, as we started working, that was up at 44, and when we finished the program that we were on, it's come down to 40.
Okay.
Now, I don't really understand what that means, but I know on my blood test, it sort of, the first one said I was being referred to the doctor for pre-diabetic,
Yeah.
and on the last one, it just said normal,
Yeah.
no further action. So
So well done, because that means once we start, we develop those habits, and now you're going to continue those habits. That means you don't need to go on to the diabetes complication medications. It's complications and different symptoms which affect day-to-day life. So you success there. Um, Okay, and in terms of quality of life, like because of your arthritis related to pain, right? Could you do all the activity in terms of your work, your passions, hobbies, and how that changed over the period of working, as well as your energy levels? Um, yeah,
so yeah, in terms of my energy levels, and the things I enjoy doing, this time last year I struggled to play. I love playing golf, but I struggled to, although I played, I think I've mentioned to you in the past, to play around a golf, I would end up taking something like 8 paracetamols.
yes, my recording. Great. So you were saying, Paul, that your joint had joint pain related to with weight, and the inflammation was affecting your ability to go to the golf, and you used to have 8 paracetamol to just finish one round of golf, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'd take 2 paracetamol before I started playing. Before I got 9 holes done, I'd have taken another 2, and by the end of the round, I'd have got through 8 of them, which isn't a great
N-
place to be, really.
no, it's not only the what are the drugs doing to your body, but it's just feeling that I have to depend on the drug, that
Yeah,
that dependence on something is morally not right, right? And how,
yeah, it sort of takes your self-esteem down a bit, and all these sort of things, all this, having to do that, having being in pain,
Mhm.
not being able to walk the dogs and stuff like that. It's like a dripping tap. It just continues to knock your self-confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned about your love for dogs, and
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. So now where you are, like, do you feel confident to play golf, take your dogs out, and engage in physical activity?
Yeah, I mean, I did something before, just to look back, and before we started working together, my average number of steps per day in a month
Yeah.
back in July was 6,189,
Uh-huh.
and for this month it's just short of 11,000. Um, and that's just, my average daily steps. So, and with no pain,
With
um, yeah, I played golf yesterday, carried my bag.
how many paracetamol you took?
Don't take any anymore.
Really?
No,
I was just waiting for that. So is it like from 8 to 1? But no.
no, no, don't need to take any anymore. It's fine.
Amazing. How about your focus, energy, and productivity at work, your business? Because you are a qualified accountant who has its own practice. How you were? Because that's one of the thing I like. It's not just weight loss, just not in enhancing quantity of life, but there is something more to when we work together. How was that element, purpose?
Um, I know it's a lot better, and it's hard to quantify because it's changed over sort of 6 months. But now I'm much sharper. I have more clarity of what I want to achieve in a day or a week or a month. Prior to that, it just felt like I was rebounding from one thing to another without any focus of where I was going or what I had to get done. I was very much more reactive to situations than proactive, I suppose. So yeah, my focus is 100 times better than it was. I've plans and they range from sort of yearly, monthly, and weekly plans that take me steps to a journey.
Yeah, and that gets executed because you know what's your MIT. Most
Absolutely, yeah. Me 3
important.
MITs a day.
Yes, yes. And I see that, like, in conversation with you, you say that, even the meditation practices we did, like some of the things, some of the people who were conductive to your growth, they came, new people came, and the
Mm-hmm.
old one sort of like, they didn't bother you basically. How did that impact, like during this our, how did meditation and the reflective practices we did positively influenced your relationships of all kind?
Um, I, I think that the meditation practices really helped and still do. It gives me some space in a day
Hmm.
just to be me and to think of things and just to get some peace
Yeah.
and tranquility for a while, which in this day and age is hard to find.
Yes.
But yeah, it gave me clarity of what is important and things that were influencing me that weren't really important, but just seemed to be important to that moment in time.
Yeah.
I've now they're not an issue anymore. They're in the past, and yeah, I'm making new connections with people and sort of it's almost like I've been sat in a car that's not been started, and now we're in gear and we're rolling along the road.
And that one first gear will go to second and third gear.
Yeah.
That's my hope for you, rather wish for you. Hope or certainty. Hope and wish is one thing, but if we continue with that journey, it will be certain. There is a
Mm-hmm.
strong belief from my side for you.
Yeah.
um, So you attended my webinar, like when we first started. Uh, was that the time you decided to make your health a priority? And like, what was the key decision factor which made you decide that I'm right professional to help you in health resolutions? Because as you said that you tried different techniques and tools in the past, but what was the key decision factor that made you say that, oh, yes, I'm gonna work with Pranita and invest my time and importantly energy and money. Yeah, I wouldn't say money is the important. I think that the trust factor um, and willingness to put your health as a priority, and of course yeah, how what was the decision factor or factors?
I think following on from the webinar, and then we had a sort of one-to-one session after that. The thing I could see was the stuff I'd tried in the past to lose weight or to change my energy levels or whatever was just a one-dimensional view of you lose weight by doing this.
Yeah.
Whereas when we spoke, you have more of a holistic approach of it's about mindset, changing your diet, but not not changing your diet to a point of view of cut out carbs or don't eat sugar, or it was more of a thoughtful approach to diets of take out the foods that are causing you inflammation, intermittent fasting, much more, not a diet, more of a way of life. And then, you know, moving into mindfulness and just being happy within yourself, bringing you all the way back to mindset. So it was like a wheel that made sense to me. It wasn't just a one-dimensional, you need to lose weight, so don't eat carbs.
So would you say that since you mentioned being peaceful and joyful right now, was that successful?
Yeah,
That hmm?
yeah.
So you feel contained, peaceful, calm in the moment now?
I have my moments,
Yeah.
but
But right overall.
overall, I'm really happy.
So the book, my book, Healthy and Happy, that happiness is also successful now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um, okay. So I think we spoke about your current overall life, like current results as well. So in terms of moving ahead, um, just before that, I wanted to ask you what was the happiest thing about aspect about working with me, and where did you have any expectation before working with me, preconception, and did I uh, made those expectation?
I had no expectation,
Ah, okay.
um, because probably I didn't have any clarity of thought or vision. So I didn't have any expectation at all. Um, the fact that halfway through our work together, I had to go and buy a new belt because my other one was way too big is
Okay.
probably the happiest
Ah,
pointer, I suppose. But that's just a measure. That's a physical measure of how things have changed. The other stuff that makes you happy and fulfills your expectations are very subjective. So it's hard to measure that.
yeah. And things like creativity, flow, intuition, new ideas, generations is something you cannot really measure.
No, you can't. And it also, because it becomes a habit over a period of time, you don't realize you've moved from whatever you were doing before to what is now a habit.
Okay. Yeah, it's your way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so what are the main reasons you would recommend others about working with me? Why?
Um, be, because it isn't just a one-dimensional service, it focuses on everything that you need to improve your life.
And why particularly me rather than if someone does these holistic services, but how about like, me as a professional?
Um, that's a difficult one to answer because you're the only person I've worked with on this sort of thing. So it works for me, and that's all you can recommend, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, what you do works, and that's it.
Yeah. And like sometimes people ask me, what's your method? But it's difficult to quantify the method in a strategic way, because it's about the person presenting to me at that point of time, and using the past experience. It may not be possible because on occasions I plan to deliver one particular session, but whatever you describe on that day, I completely changed my So it's really depend on.
It's the same in all walks of life. I could go and see someone about a set of accounts, and all of a sudden they say something that is like, oh, right, we need to think about,
Different.
we were going to talk about this, now we need to think about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the same.
Great. Great. So what's the last question? So now you achieve this success, health transformation, health and happiness transformation, I would say. Would you agree?
Yeah.
um, what is the next step where Paul would love to be in next 2, 3, 5 years time in terms of his psychology, physiology, and connection?
Blimey. Well, right now I'm just enjoying where I am.
I like.
So yeah, wherever the journey takes me is where it takes me. Right now I'm just quite happy doing what I do, and continuing to live the lifestyle that you've delivered.
Thank you.
I don't have any worries about where I'm.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really. Well, thank you so much, Paul. And we will continue our conversation in future. And I wish you the very best success.
Thank you very much.